Gather close, my friends, and still your tongues. Let the fire warm your bones, for what I tell you tonight is not a tale of kings or crowns. It is the story of those who guard something far greater than gold or thrones, the very dreams that make us who we are. Long before any of our maps were drawn, when the first names were still being spoken, there was a place where every hope, every sorrow, every story came to rest. The wind carried them, the earth cradled them, and from that cradle rose the city of dust. Not built of stone, oh no, its streets were spun from silver sands, each grain a memory. The walls were woven from whispers, and in its heart glowed the breath of the world itself, the dust of dreams. But where there is light, shadows always stir. From beyond the edge of night came the hollow dark, born from forgotten dreams and abandoned hopes. His hunger was not for gold nor blood, but for silence, the silence of a world that no longer remembers itself. He came to scatter the dust, to unmake the stories of humankind until not even a name remained.
But the dust is not defenseless, my friends. When the wind carried the hollow dark's chill, the dust itself called. And four answered. Rick Knight, the first keeper, whose courage cut through fear as sharp as his sword. A quiet swordsman whose silver blade could cut through shadows. He carried the weight of forgotten dreams on his back, each swing a promise. Rick Ember, the staff-bearer, whose fire burned with the memory of every soul. A wanderer turned mage, whose staff bore a glowing orange orb, filled with the fire of memory. He was the voice of the dust when it chose to speak. Arya, the song weaver, who could bind heart to heart with a single note. Her melodies were spun from the breath of the dust, weaving magic into every note. Lyra, the gentle shield, whose strength came not from steel, but from love itself. A guardian with hands strong enough to lift stone and a heart gentle enough to cradle the smallest hope. She carried hope and courage in her soul. They did not meet by chance. No, they were bound by something older than time, the vow of the keepers. On a night when the sky held no stars, the hollow dark descended. The city quaked, and the dust rose in a storm of light and shadow. Back to back, the four stood in the heart of dreams, their voices joined in a single cry. No dream shall fade, no memory fall. We are the shield that guards them all. Steel clashed with shadow, fire burned against void. Eris's voice rose higher than the screams of the wraiths, and Lyra's hands held the very walls from falling. And when the last note was sung, the hollow dark broke like smoke on the wind. When dawn kissed the dust that day, the four stood as more than mortals. They were keepers, bound to the breath of the world itself. And so long as their story is sung, the dust remains. For dreams do not die when guarded by love and courage. And that, my friends, is why you must never let the ballad of the dust fade. For as long as we remember, the keepers stand, and as long as they stand, so do we. And so the Bard's song was born. A tale told in taverns, whispered by travelers, and sung in the city itself. Raise your blades, lift your voices high, for the dreams that will never die. Hope is a fire, will shield it from rust. We are the keepers of the dust. And now, my friends, the dawn is breaking through, and I must continue my travels, for the dust endures and it remembers and still exists.
And in the age when the world began to forget, there arose one who carried the song of the keepers upon his mortal breath. His name is lost to most, though some call him Aaron Vale, and others simply the Dust Singer. He was no warrior of steel, nor wielder of arcane fire, but a man whose voice bore the weight of centuries. It is told that the ballad of the keepers came not from parchment, nor teacher, but from the dust itself, whispered into his soul by the silver winds that guard the city of dreams. Through barren lands and broken kingdoms he wandered, singing the song so that the world would not sleep in forgetfulness. For when the story is unspoken, the dust grows cold, and the dreams of humankind fade to ash. In the winter of his last days, the bard came to the Valley of Shimmering Mist. There he found the ruins of the sacred city, long crumbled beneath time's indifferent hand. Yet the dust remained, glimmering like stars fallen upon earth. Kneeling, he sang the ballad as it was first given, though his voice was cracked and worn. The dust rose in a great storm, and in its glow the four keepers were seen, not of flesh, but of memory, standing as shadows of light. To the bard they bowed, and in a voice as old as the first dream, the dust spoke. You have carried us beyond the reach of death. Through your song we endure. When the final note was sung, the bard's mortal shell was taken into the dust. His voice became the wind that whispers still within that valley, as well as within the souls who hear that whisper. Thus it is written, the ballad must be sung, lest the world forget itself. For hope, dream, and memory are bound in the dust, and the dust remembers,